get set. Where them hands, where them hoes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
This is why I train in martial arts. This PDF is called Avoiding Setups by Inmates. So it's basically a guide in how to avoid setups by inmates. This is for guards and other correctional staff at a jail. So I'm scrolling down here. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but I just want to point out some things that I know that I think are pretty much universal. The setup. Do con artists only work for used car dealers and only get the gullible types? Have you ever been conned? You more than likely have. Here's how prison employees can put themselves in a compromising situation and not realize it until you have crossed the line and it's too late to do anything about it. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a time when I asked somebody who was an obvious visible con artist, how in the world are they able to continue getting over on people when it's obvious that the game that they have is rigged against the people playing? I asked this of 3 different con people, and they all said the same thing, and it caught me off guard each time. They said, "Do you expect to get something for nothing?" I said, "No." And they said, "And that's why I can't con you. And the rest of these idiots think that they can get something for nothing, and that's how I get them." Okay? Now, this paragraph actually ended up being the main thing that jumped out at me, other than the tactics, because I think our society is becoming like a prison environment. Of course, people like Neely Fuller Jr. says that we live in a prison. Alex Jones said on his website, it's a prison planet. But look at this. Here it is. It's an unfortunate fact that we work in an environment where kindness and compassion are sometimes seen as weakness and may be exploited by inmates for various reasons. In an environment like prison, survival for the inmates can depend upon the need to manipulate. This can include anything from using prison rules to the inmate's advantage to running with the heavies. Okay? I think that's how our society is getting. It's just becoming more and more manipulative, where manipulative behavior, people feel like that's what's necessary. That's how you get ahead. If you ever do any reading about psychopaths, that's how psychopathic behavior gets rewarded in our society. And actually, psychopaths tend to move up the corporate ladder. Okay. Now look at this. They got 14 steps. Observation, victim selection, testing the limits, phishing, the support system, empathy, sympathy, plea for help, we-they syndrome, offer of protection, illusion of sex, the touch, the rumor clinic, the shopping list, the lever, the sting. Okay? Now don't look at this video that I'm doing here as an excuse not to read this PDF, because I really couldn't do it justice unless I went through every single piece of text here. But there's one thing I wanted to say. Where was that? It may have been in the video that I also linked to. But I have a video up here that I made called The Psychology of One-Step Sparring, where I said that I argue in the video, and every time I reference it, I say the same thing, that the whole one-step sparring ritual dovetails with how people pick you before they attack or how they're going to initiate an attack. And if you think about applying one-step sparring to something like this, it also works in that what prisoners need in order to find out if you're able to be a target is they need to check your initial response, okay? So before I go into what's on the screen, the soft, medium, and hard approach, they do something, and then depending on how you respond back, that lets them know whether or not you're worth the time. What they're looking for, I guess I can go into this now, they're looking for a soft target, okay? Or a target that's too hard, okay? Because they know how to manipulate that too. If you are balanced in here, medium cautious, they tend to stay away from you, all right? And when you're doing a one-step sparring, for those of you who don't know, you have the attacker and the defender. They face on the mat. They come towards each other and they bow. Okay. The first thing that happens is the attacker down blocks and yells, "Kia!" Right? Then the defender down blocks and yells in return, "Kia!" And then the attacker attacks and punches and leaves the punch out there. And then Kia, then the defender does a counter block, does all kinds of punches, or maybe just one, or may do a kick or a hit or some kind of counter attack. And then depending on your system, they may do a throw to throw the person on the ground, or some kind of what people call takedown. And then they may finish the person with one hit on the ground. Okay, so they'll block it, hit them, throw them, and they may do a one punch and one kick in order to just get the person to stop attacking them. There are a couple of things that does. One thing it does, it teaches you how to only respond with the amount of force that's necessary to stop a single attack. But what I found, I guess by accident, is that when you drill that so much that it gets into your subconscious, if you're paying attention to how you feel about a situation, if somebody's trying to con you, especially if it's some type of criminal con, you will feel like they've done a down block. Like, this is what happened. This guy was trying to take my wallet, and I didn't know he was trying to take my wallet. But he came up to me in a mall, and he was talking, right? And something just felt weird. And it was like, in my mind's eye, I saw him while he's talking these sweet words. I saw him down blocking at me like he's getting ready to attack for one-step sparring. So then I stopped and I backed up, right? Like I would do if I was doing one-step sparring. And then he came a little bit closer, and I think I just stood up real tall and erect. I just stood up real tall and straight when he came towards me. I didn't do anything aggressive. I just stood up, and it's like I saw my spirit do a down block in response towards him. I didn't do it, but it was like my soul did that, and I saw like that coming out of my body. And I was like, I must be feeling like this guy's up to no good. So I decided to trust that and go with that. And I just moved away from, put my hands up. I was like, nah, I'm not interested. No, man, I just don't want what you got. Now, he didn't do anything violent, okay? He didn't really try to attack me. But I knew he was disappointed. So since the response I gave was not something that he could hook into, he left. And then I swear, like I'm walking up about 30 seconds later, I hear, we got him. And I turned around and look, I thought they're coming after the black man, right? Because the guy that came at me was white. That's all. I'm over here in Alexandria, they're coming at the black man. I turned around and the cops had this guy on the ground. And I was like, well, one of them came over to me, oh, it's a good thing you talked to that guy. Thanks, we got him. He's been going around trying to take your people's wallets to this mall. And I was like, okay. Y'all not after me? Cool. And I just kept going. Nobody told me I had to stay, so I decided to go before I fit a description. But that's just one example. It's been times like, I believe I kept myself from being stabbed by a homeless guy because I was giving him money. He asked somebody, I was giving him money, and when I put it in his hand felt weird. It felt like he was getting ready to do something aggressive. Just by the way his hand moved. His hand kind of moved back like he was going to do a one step. So I automatically backed off real fast, like I was backing up in a judo match. And he saw me back off that quick. And he had put his hand in his pocket. It looked like he was reaching up for something to me after I backed up and could get the distance. He saw that, and he froze, and then he just said, thank you. And I said, you're welcome, made a big wide circle, and kept going. So I think that when we drill a lot of the super classical things from martial arts, drill these classical things to the point where they become innate, to the point that they become second nature. If you allow them, and don't think that it's always got to be something literal, it will bleed over into protecting you. Because I guess there's some part of the hind brain, the reptilian brain, that still recognizes a threat, even if it's not coming across physically. It recognizes other threats. So maybe that's the thing they were talking about with Mushin. I don't know, but I do know that doing this stuff over and over and over again will bleed into physical situations. And having said all that, I'm going to read this little bit about soft, medium, and hard. Where do we hear about soft, medium, and hard? We hear about that in martial arts styles. Soft styles, you have your hard styles, you have your hard, soft styles, and medium styles. So let's take a look at this, and then I'm going to close. Corrections employees, as well as inmates, place officers and staff into basically three categories: soft, medium, and hard. Soft employees are usually very trusting, overly familiar, and naive, and have a desire to be liked by both inmates and staff. They may have a strong desire to help the inmate and may be sympathetic and understanding. They may have the inability to say no or take command. Hard employees go strictly by the book. Everything is black and white, and there is no in between. They grant no leeway. This is often associated with what we call the macho syndrome. Okay. Medium employees know how to use the traits of both the soft and hard categories at the appropriate times in the right manner. So this is how you want to be as a prison employee, but really how you want to be as a martial artist as well. Inmates will concentrate on the soft and the hard employees. All right, check this out. Soft because of the inability or hesitancy to say no, combined with their understanding and sympathetic traits. And I know that's how I got targeted when I was bullied as a kid, because I still do have a soft demeanor, so they saw that as weak, okay? Hard because inmates may feel that the hardness and the by the book, no exception attitude disguises a weakness in that individual, or that the individual is frightened of the inmates. I know that definitely got me picked on when I was a kid, because when I said I got to stop being soft, I'm gonna be hard, yeah, right? And then people do things to aggravate you because now you're trying to be hard, so you can't ever back out of a conflict, which is what they wanted to do because they wanted to take a shot at you anyway, and now they have an excuse because you're playing the escalation game along with them. And this is where I had to come to, and this is hard to stay in, Jack. This is hard to stay in. The medium employee who uses both traits at the appropriate time will usually be left alone. This is not because they can't be manipulated. Remember that. No, anybody can be manipulated, okay? This is not because they can't be manipulated, but because the process would take too much time, okay? They want an easy target, okay? Their actions will discourage the manipulative process. For example, and this is their equation: soft equals gullible, medium equals cautious, hard equals suspicious, okay? And then they're going to go into their 14 steps and stuff like that. So it's just like the jungle out there. It makes me wonder how you keep from going under. This is how you keep from going under. You got to be balanced. In Buddhism, they talk about the middle way, okay? In the Bible, you hear everything there is a time and everything in its right season, okay? You got to do things appropriately, and this is hard, and I'm not saying I have it down or that I am perfect at this. I am not. I am working on it though, and that dynamic is definitely something we can learn from. I guess you would call this prison do, not jitsu. Prison jitsu is that sewing machine stabbing type thing, but this is prison do, how to avoid manipulation. And look at this list here: flattery, empathy, sympathy, helplessness, sensitivity, confidentiality, isolate and protect, touching, sexual references, coercion, and intimidation. This is the prisoner playbook that they use in order to put guards in a compromising situation. And this is probably the tools that people use in order to get kids to do the wrong thing. And this is the tools that people can use in order to get you to do the wrong thing in your life and to, just take advantage of you. So be aware of that. Please read this PDF and check out the video that I'll link to in the description, okay? So thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people who like to talk about the martial arts, and take a look at the rest of the series as it's coming up. And peace.